Hi, I'm Colin Ong. I have been a business educator for many years. I'm based in Singapore. My email address is colinongts@hotmail.com. I have used a number of platforms to actually introduce business studies, management of business, um, to a large audience. If you need help, email to me and I'll reply to you, whichever country you're from. If you need tuition, especially 2022, I have vacancies um, for tuition for students for saying for 2022 exams. Right now, I like to also approach school teachers. Many school teachers have feedback to me to say it's difficult to teach business case studies to a certain level of students because of they're quite immature. It's hard. It's not true. It's actually very easy, and you use the model I've developed. It's called Scalable model. And what that means is that you start with something very simple. So, for example, you start with you're owner of a cafe. Your cafe is your own cafe where everything is created by you. The coffee is from a coffee machine that you bought. The cakes are very simple cakes that you actually bake. The tables are normal fixtures, and maybe you can start by telling the student that you have about 5 tables, and then um, uh, you own the place. All right, air condition is up to you because you own the place, and currently you're a one-man show. So what you can do is you tell your student to actually imagine the whiteboard. So in your classroom setting, just imagine whiteboard. Ask your students to imagine that you have a cafe. How do you want a table speed to be located? So they can take a marker or a very large magnet and they put it onto the whiteboard. So it starts this one. Then ask another student to come in. All right, and ask the student, what type of chair do you want? So you can keep developing this. It depends on how much time you have. You can say, okay, what type of chairs do you want? Right. Okay. Then how long do you want each uh, person to stay? Do you want to have a model where every hour the person stays, the person has to buy a drink, or you ask the person pay about $30 and the person can stay from 2 to 5? Right? Do you want to have Wi-Fi? Um, how elaborate do you want the food menu to be? Do you want to also offer ice cream? So a few things. So you make your students break out and have a discussion. All right. And let's assume that after the discussion, your students say that okay, maybe it's very hard to ask students to leave a cafe. So you charge them maybe $25, and what they do, they get a drink, a slice of cake, obviously Wi-Fi, and they can stay for maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours off peak period. So maybe 2 to 4:30 they can stay there, and maybe they can also have some uh, magazines as you know, and the type of music that you have, it will not be too disruptive. One table up to maximum of four, four four students vaccinated, and and all that. So when you are discussing this, you're making your students look at the area on the whiteboard, imagine imagine about COVID, which is pastel. So there are many levels of how to prepare, and then you can say that after a certain time, if the students are very bored, they can actually play a song. They can do a bit of um, karaoke, but of course with safe distancing. They can actually come up together and do some Zoom, and then you can actually record that on a very interesting background and all that. But most important is you teach your students how to apply what they study in business studies from a very simple model using the whiteboard and magnets and markers. So all you need is a whiteboard, very large, different colored magnets, a marker, and for them to actually understand the syllabus. And off you go. So this is what I mean. So all the best.